Hello, welcome to a new video. If you're new here, my name is Emeka. I'm a banker living in London, and over the course of my 3-year career in investment banking, I've more or less noticed some habits that can help you succeed at work. Let's talk about it. The first one, and actually I think is the most important one, do not take feedback personal. If you work in banking, corporate law, any sort of high-paced corporate environment, you're always going to get feedback. In banking, there's a mid-year feedback and end-of-year feedback. The worst thing you can do is think that that feedback is attacking you as a person. The feedback is not a personal attack on yourself. The feedback is a time for you to learn from your mistakes, learn what you can do better, and grow. Especially if you work in banking, everyone wants a big salary bump, a high bonus. The way to get a salary bump and a high bonus is to take on feedback from your manager and improve. That's the only way. They're literally telling you, you want 50K instead of 30K, do this, improve on XYZ, and then you can get that. But a lot of times, due to various reasons, people think that feedback is a personal attack. They could blame their race, their gender, their sexuality as the reason why they're getting that exact feedback. Because they could say, someone else on my team is of a different race and they didn't get that specific feedback, which means that I only got that feedback based on how I look. It's almost never the case. People are there to do a job and go home. And what I've found for me that helps, your first few months working, when you get a lot of feedback, it can be hard to take in because your whole life, you've probably been told you're the best. Even to Oxford, Cambridge, your whole life, you've been the best because GCSE, A-star, A-levels, A-star, uni, Oxford, first class, 2-1, you've more or less always been told you're the best person. When you get into the corporate environment, I made a video about this, how smart you are and the quality of your work in a job don't always align. So it's very hard to take on feedback. What you should do is hear the feedback. If you're in your feelings, that's fine. Tell the person giving the feedback, I understand where you're coming from. Give me some time to think about this and I'll come back to you with some of my thoughts. That's all you have to do. No one will make you have to respond to that feedback straight away. But what you should do is recognize it, accept it, have a think about it, and in 2 days, 3 days, or even in 4 hours, go back to your manager and say, hey, come have a quick chat. I promise you that conversation will go a lot better. The second habit I want you guys to master is prioritizing quality over quantity. When I first joined banking, I was hell-bent on trying to impress people. And in my mind, the way to impress people was to get a lot of work done quickly. I only cared about the speed. I'm not saying the quality of my work was bad. On a scale of 0 to 100, I would say my work was around 60, 70, and the speed was 95. That's literally all I cared about. But in hindsight, people are going to remember you based on how good the quality of your work is. If the work takes you 5 minutes and it's effing shit, no one really cares because the work is not good enough. If the work doesn't take you a lot of time and the quality at the end is so good, that's what matters. Think about it. The email your manager will send to the MDs, a VP, a different team would say, this is the work Emeka's done. Really good analysis. What do you think? It's not going to say Emeka took 2 minutes, 2 days, or 3 months. It never says that. All you need to be concerned about is making sure you hit the deadline. So how do you work around this? What you should do is always under promise. If the work you know will take you 2 hours, say it will take you 6 hours. So that way you have enough time to be very analytical with your work and making sure it's very good. And also when people think it will take you 6 hours and deliver in 4 hours, it makes you look like a superstar. If you set deadlines close to the rate at which you work, that is a recipe for disaster. Always give yourself a buffer. If you're in banking, you're in law, you're in consulting, that buffer should be quite a lot because you know one mistake might mean starting the work all over again. So make sure you give yourself enough buffer on the promise and make sure you deliver freaking well. The next habit to master at work is being proactive with your career. Now, people leave university where more or less, you know when the exams are, you attend the exam, you pass, you then move on to the next year, then you have your final year, and then you graduate. More or less, there's a sequence of events. In the workplace, this is not the case. People can be stagnant at a role for 10 plus years. It's on you to try and make the most out of your career. That's what an MD told me. He told me, and a lot of people, you guys are analysts, but it is on you in this job to make the most out of your career. It's on you to try and move to a different country if you want to experience how it is there. It's literally all on you. You have to be proactive. No one's going to come and say, hey Emeka, do you want to move into the fintech team? No one is going to do that. You have to make that decision yourself. You have to make make that effort. You have to go and approach people, approach different managers, approach different associates, and find out what it is they're doing in their team and see if that's what interests you. We have one effing life, literally one life. I'm 26, 27 soon. In my mind, life has gone very quick. And now more than ever, I'm trying everything I can to move my career forward. Everything I can. Working hard, working late, networking with people, asking questions, just trying to be very proactive, because at the end of the day, closed mouths don't get fed. If you're at your desk quiet, you're unhappy about your team or the work, or you don't like what you've been assigned to, no one knows if you're just there sulking. People have a lot of stuff on their mind. In a great world, someone will see you sad and approach you and say, hey, what's wrong? No one has the effing time. You have to make that step yourself. If you're a summer intern about to start in June, July, you have to be effing proactive. If you're put in a team and you can see already you don't like what that team does, start networking as soon as possible to try and get a full-time role in a different team. That's the only way. No one's gonna beg you to join their team because they don't have to, but you want that, so make it work. This next habit is kind of related to being proactive in your career. Is to progress in the workplace, you have to build relationships. I get it. You might think if you're the smartest guy in the room and you get your job done on time, it's high quality, everyone can see you're really good, then it doesn't matter if you don't speak to anyone, your career is going to progress very well. That might be true, but in the same breath, I can guarantee you that if you're able to build and foster good relationships, your career will progress a lot faster, all things being equal, especially if you have a client-facing role. You need to learn how to try and cultivate relationships across the entire seniority level. I'm an analyst. I need to learn how to cultivate relationships with analysts, associates, VP, MDs, and even higher, because each person matters in a different way when it comes to your career. Your fellow analyst matters so much. If you're sick, they cover for you. If you're in a meeting, they cover for you. If you need help with something, they can explain that to you. Associates matter as well. VPs matter as well. They're your managers. Your career is more or less literally in their hand. They're going to give you guidance. They're going to tell you what you can improve on. The MDs matter too. They're the ones that set the tone and the team culture. You need to find out how they like to work, what they dislike. The whole point here is every single person matters. Don't think that I'll only be friends with EDs and MDs and my career progress because if I do everything they want me to do, then they'll favor me. But you're a shit person to your fellow analyst. Or that one day when you need someone to help you, because you've been shit to them this whole time, they're not going to help you. I promise you. Because my work is already a lot. So if you're not nice to me, why would I help you? If you're enjoying the video so far, and if you've liked what I've talked about, please drop a comment down below and let me know what some habits you think can help people succeed in the workplace. Now this is the final habit, and I'm literally doing it right now. Learning how to talk to people. Talking to people, being able to communicate effectively is a skill. It's something you have to master. No one is born with the ability to talk very well. This has to be learned. Me making YouTube videos is a way for me to practice my presenting skills. Think about it this way. Once you've done the analysis, it doesn't stay with you. That goes out to different people. The number one way to stand out from other people and to show good command of your work is being able to communicate very effectively. Talking slow, taking pauses, thinking about what you're about to say before you say it. All those different things will make you stand out. And I think people really underappreciate how hard it is to learn how to speak in public very well. It's very hard. It's nerve-wracking. I remember my first presentation during my placement year. I was so bad. Like after it, I was like, I want to enter the ground right now. But again, I took on feedback, I listened to people, and I improved. Go watch my first YouTube video. Right here. I'm going to put it right here. See how I was talking then and see how I'm talking now. It takes time. It takes practice. We all start somewhere. So just try and improve. Hope you found our video useful, guys. Like the video, drop a comment down below, and I'll see you in the next one. Thank you.